Start with Mr. Barrett for 6 minutes, please.
Clara Visser, the government contractor, recently charged for committing $250,000 in fraud under your watch. Can you tell us what the name of her company is and for which projects she worked?
Merci beaucoup pour la question. Donc, je n'ai.
Thank you very much for the question. I do not have that information at my disposal in terms of what the name of the company is or what contracts were used.
So you don't know? No one, none of the witnesses here today know the name of her company or the projects that she worked on.
Donc, Madame Visser a sécurisé plus.
No, she secured various contracts through various prime contractors with various federal government departments and agencies. But the details of those contracts are not information that I have with me today.
Is that information that you'll undertake to provide to the committee in writing?
On peut certainement regarder, oui, dans nos dossiers et voir qu'est-ce qu'on pourrait vous fournir.
Yes, we can look into our files and see what can be provided in this regard.
Okay, so to be very clear, the name of the prime contractors, the name of her company, and the name of the projects that she worked on is the information that we're looking for. And of course, your department will have those records. So you said that you'll see what you're able to provide. Of course, PSPC is able to provide the name of prime subcontractors and the contract that they work on, correct?
Tout à fait. Nous allons regarder dans nos dossiers. Nous allons vous fournir.
Yes, we will provide that information.
It's. I must say it's disappointing that you've come to the Government Operations Committee today not equipped with information that's, of course, in the public interest, and of course would be questions that we would ask. It doesn't speak to transparency. We've found ourselves, in this place only by virtue of answers being demanded by Conservatives at committee. So. Are you able to tell us how many more cases of fraud, aside from Miss Visser, have been reported to the RCMP, the number of cases?
Merci pour la question, Monsieur le Président. Donc, tel qu'annoncé.
Thank you for the question. As announced by our minister in March, 3 cases of fraudulent overbilling were referred to the RCMP.
So that includes Miss Visser?
Merci pour la question, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much for the question. That does not include Ms. Visser. That took place in fiscal year 2022-23, so that was the first case of fraudulent overbilling that we referred to the RCMP. But in 2023-24, we referred 3 further cases to the RCMP, and those are the 3 cases that were announced by the minister in March.
And in addition to Ms. Visser, is there a number greater than 0 of cases that were referred to the RCMP before the spring? Yes or no, please?
Je m'excuse, je vais devoir vous demander de répéter votre question. Je n'ai pas bien compris.
I'm sorry, I will have to ask you to repeat the question.
Other than Miss Visser's were referred to the RCMP before this year. So there were 3 this year, Miss Visser in a previous fiscal year. How many others in addition to that? A number?
Aucun autre.
No other case. So the first file referred to the RCMP for fraudulent overbilling was the case of Claire-Hélène Visser. And after that, subsequently, we referred 3 further cases to the RCMP in 2023-24. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse.
RCMP contacted PSPC regarding criminal investigations into consultants that were not referred to them by you. So investigations that they initiated on their own or were initiated by complaints from other sources.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, pour la question.
Thank you. To my knowledge, the RCMP has not contacted us in regard to the files you mentioned in your question.
How much money is suspected by your department as being given out to fraudsters or having been the subject of fraud? So you say there's 3 other cases. What's the total value of the suspected fraud?
Merci beaucoup pour la question, Monsieur.
Thank you for the question. It would be very difficult for me to estimate a total sum in regard to this fraud because the very nature of fraud is to resist detection, to be secretive. Therefore, without looking through the cases one by one, it would be very difficult. I know there are international organizations who say that fraud might represent between 0.5 to 5% of spending in certain government entities, but it would be entirely speculation on my part to try to give you an exact sum.
Which departments are affected by the cases that have been referred to the RCMP?
Merci, Monsieur le Président, pour la question. Je vous dirais.
Thank you for the question. First of all, I would say that no department is entirely safe from this type of fraud. I think 36 departments.
Sorry, Chair. Okay, I'm looking for the specifics of those
Merci pour
departments. So that you say there's 36. Can you provide the list of the 36 to the committee? And the minister said that the cases were totaled around $5 million. Is that the right number?
Oui, c'est un estimé approximatif qui est très juste.
Yes, that is an approximate estimate.
It's $5 million. I'm sure that there's information to support that. Can you provide that in writing to the committee? The estimate that's been compiled. I mean, initially you said it'd be difficult. The minister found it less difficult. That information was gathered for him by you and your colleagues. So I'd like to get specifics on that. It's about $5 million. You say it's across 36 departments. So I'd like a list of the departments and the estimates that correlate to each department. Are you able to do that for us, please?
Nous allons regarder dans nos dossiers pour voir.
We will consult our files to see what we can do, and we will commit to send on the information as much as possible.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Just a reminder, I'm sure you're aware that this committee's passed a motion. We require any requested responses within a 3-week period.